and welcome to IMI Insights, the podcast where we delve into ideas, emerging trends, and thought leadership that is shaping businesses today. In today's episode, we explore a mindset that has been a business strategy for decades, where we look at products that are always pushed to becoming newer, better, and faster. But in this scenario, where we are facing climate constraints, there are resources which are not available all the time, and there are shifting consumer expectations. So, in a world such as this, is the model of always getting products that are newer, better, and faster still sustainable? Today, we have with us Professor Ruchika, who is a professor of operations management and quantitative techniques at IMI. And her recent article for IMI Insights explores the idea of repair, not just as a personal habit, but also as a business strategy. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
So, in your article, you mentioned that this idea or this push for newer, better, and more improved is not working anymore. So, it doesn't make sense environmentally, but also not strategically, right, for businesses. So, how do you explain that?
Okay, so this model is no longer sustainable because we all know that our planet Earth has finite number of resources, and this model is depleting those resources. Right. So let's talk about the creation of a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
So while creating a smartphone, approximately 85 kgs of carbon dioxide is released. Right, and that causes a lot of harm to our atmosphere. Right, and fun fact is that among the various type of trashes, this electronic trash is the fastest growing trash.
Right.
Right, and if I can add more to it, only 20% of it gets recycled. Right, and let's talk about strategy points in terms of yeah. So let's say there is this company, it makes products cheap so that they break quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Right, why so? They think that by doing so people will buy more products, they'll buy it quickly, because once the product is broken they'll approach them again, buy a new one,
New product.
and then ultimately they'll be making more profit. But they don't realize that over a long period of time they are causing damage to their reputation. So people should think more about the environment, more about the planet, and they should prefer repairing over replacing the products.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you bring up the idea of repair, because this is also a very important part that you sort of highlight and talk about in your article.
Mhm.
So repair, obviously, as a personal habit to have it is great. You're like sort of conserving the things and you're helping out the environment. But why should business leaders also pay attention to this? Why does it become so intrinsic to business strategy as well?
Okay, so as we have already talked about, if they do not move towards the repairing part, then ultimately they will lead to more wastage,
Mm-hmm.
right, which will harm our planet, and also they will cause damage to their own reputation, and no company wants that. Right,
Right.
so if they want to avoid this scenario, then definitely they should change the model. Definitely they should avoid this use and throw culture, and they should build more products which have the capability of repairability over replacement.
Right.
Yes.
So clearly, then repair and reuse is something that businesses should look into, right?
Correct.
And make it sort of like a core principle that they also work on.
Mhm.
So, are there examples of businesses that have done that and have built a better value proposition because of this?
Okay, yes, there are a few. I would say a few because not all the companies are
Yes.
working.
Not all have caught up to this
Yes,
yet.
yes, yes. So there is this company Framework.
Right.
So Framework laptops are there, which if you buy that laptop, then you will be able to repair that yourself.
Okay.
They are built in such a way that the user can themselves repair it. Right.
Yeah,
So
that's very interesting.
it is very interesting, right? And also, if we talk about Dell,
Mm-hmm.
so Dell is also running a successful program where they are showing that how they can repair the laptops or electronics, and they are selling it, they are running it successfully.
There's another concept that is gaining a lot of traction and which is called servitization.
Hmm.
So, first of all, I would want you to explain that to me, and along with that, also talk about how companies go from selling products to selling services and outcomes, and where does repair fit into all of this?
All right, so you coined the term servitization, right? So servitization means instead of selling the products, you are selling service, providing
Right.
service,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let's say you have a company which sells bulbs, light bulbs, right? So instead of selling a light bulb to a company, let's say you are providing lighting to the entire office,
Okay.
right? I mean, instead of one bulb, you are
Mm-hmm.
providing the service of lighting the entire office. So why this is profitable is because you will install all the lights in their office, and then you will upgrade it whenever required. So it will be a stable business for you as well, so it will be win-win situation. It will lead to less waste, and you will make profits, and it will be a stable business, right?
Right.
uh, so that is servitization.
So you
Now,
kind of sell the product and you also fit in like a sort of
right, so we
repair
can say
movement right into
we are not
this.
selling product, we are
Yeah,
providing service,
service, right?
right? So
That's
that is
interesting.
much better as compared to selling a product, and then I mean it helps us to get rid of that use and throw culture,
Right.
right? So that is the main thing.
And also build like a long-term relationship with the consumer and the
Correct,
company.
correct. Also I can add on some examples here, like
Mm-hmm.
HP, they use recycled cartridges,
Right.
right? So that is good for the planet, because ultimately less wastage is there. And the famous furniture brand IKEA,
Mm-hmm.
it also uses refurbished furniture,
Okay.
right? So those customers who are more into saving planet, who care more about it, they will definitely love this idea of repairability over replacing. So that's the entire thing.
So, now we also have a gaining momentum for right to repair movement, as we call it.
Mhm.
So, and there are companies who have not really gotten into this yet. So, in your opinion, do you think these companies will be left behind in sort of like the next wave of conscious capitalism?
Correct. The right to repair movement. So there are companies, there are businesses who are still not into this
Yes.
movement, right? So uh, let's talk about European Union and some states in US. They have already started imposing penalties on such companies,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if they are not going to become the part of this movement, then definitely they will face some serious penalties in terms of finance, and of course it will cause damage to their reputation,
Reputation,
right?
right? So people will not be very interested in buying from
Correct.
companies
Mhm.
that are not investing in this right to repair
Right.
movement that we understand
Yes.
as. Okay, so another interesting thing that comes about from all of this is the circular economy,
Hmm.
right? So can you explain to us a little bit about that and how this works?
Okay. So circular economy, as in, again, you have to make strong products that will last longer,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately you are trying to build a trust among your customers. If you have created a product which is running for say 5 6 years, and the customer is enjoying using that, why would he shift to another brand, right? So what you are doing is you are creating trust, you are creating less trash. So it is helpful for all of us, like for the consumer as well, for the company as well, and of course for the planet.
So is there a strategy of some kind that a company can follow to create or so, just say, let's say, to sort of incorporate circular economy into their product model?
To incorporate, I mean, if they want to see, let's say a company has started implementing repair and reuse
Hmm.
model, then there is this term life cycle assessment,
Right.
right? So by using that tool of life cycle assessment, they can assess that how they are, how much they are getting profit in terms of finance, how much they are how much less wastage they are having. So that is something which they can have through this tool of life cycle assessment.
Mm-hmm.
So it covers all the steps by collecting the raw materials of that product, then making the product, and whatever the next stage is, like launching the product, and finally when the product is getting thrown away. So the company will notice all the stages, and they finally get to know how much wastage or how much profit they are having out of the
So,
process.
like in a
So
way,
that's
we
how.
can say this is sort of an easy way to measure the ROI of sustainability
Correct.
and how it's working in this
Correct, it
repair
is.
cycle.
Yes, yes.
Now, of course, we're talking a lot about repair and reuse, but how does consumer perception come into play in this? Because, of course, brands would want to say that they do give quality products which can be trusted.
Right. So talking about consumer perception, nobody want to throw their hard-earned money, right? So if we are investing into some product, then we definitely want some good value out of it. We should we want it to run for at least a few years, like we have already discussed,
Yes.
right? So this company H&M, they are already into this, and if we talk about Reliance, they have also started the scheme where people can bring their used clothes or used items, and then they will get some discount or coupons in terms of in lieu of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is happening. Companies are becoming more aware. So now what is the need? They need to make they need to work on their designs. They should make those products which are much stronger, which will last longer, and ultimately they'll bring trust among the customers.
So, we've had a really interesting conversation about repair, reuse, and how this is becoming the new business strategy. So, of course, as somebody who's part of B School, how do you think this can be implemented in the curriculum for current students?
Okay. So that's a very good question. At B School, we should definitely teach our future leaders how to take care of our planet, right? So there are these three concepts which would be very helpful for them to learn this model. So first one being circular economy. We should teach them about circular economy, how the idea of repair and reuse is much better as compared to the earlier use and throw culture, right? Use and throw system. And the second one would be life cycle assessment. They should know how to use it as a tool, right? Let me list the third one as well, and after that I'll give the idea how we can implement it. And the concept of servitization.
Right.
They should learn not only to sell products, not only to offer products, instead they should offer their services, right? So yes, we can teach them these concepts by holding some good workshops, maybe by giving them some practical projects, some assignments, where they could learn about these three in a better way.
Right. That's
Yes.
very interesting. And of course, now that we are preparing the B school students, the question that will automatically come is what are recruiters then looking for in leaders, or in, when they're recruiting students to make them leaders that can sort of function in this economy.
Correct. So the recruiters will definitely be looking for a candidate who is much aware about what is happening around, how much trash is being created, what type of trash is causing harm to our planet, right? And how to minimize that, right? So the candidate should definitely know about the three main terms of how to do life cycle assessment, right? What is circular economy
Mhm.
and how we get impacted out of it, right? And then definitely about servitization. They will definitely be looking for that candidate who knows how to bring up an ethical product which is stronger and which would bring more trust from the consumers.
So, this has been a really interesting conversation about sustainability, repair, reuse being more than just a personal habit but also a business strategy, right? So, in keeping all of this in mind and in this context, what does responsible leadership now look like?
Okay, so responsible leadership, right? um, we should not just as an individual, as a company, as an institution,
Mm-hmm.
we should lean more towards how we can use sustainable items, right? How we can look out for reusability, right? So we should be more into reusing the stuff, not into depleting our resources by creating a lot of trash. So that should not be the case. At the end of the day, we should know as a company how to create more ethical, stronger, and easy to fix items.
So clearly, we are looking at a new sort of business strategy that involves all of this while still, being a strategic
Correct.
business that is looking at creating products that talk about trust and, being good products, but also factoring in repair and reuse.
Right, right, correct.
So thank you so much. This has been a very interesting conversation, and thank you for coming to the
Thank you
podcast.
so much for having me. Thank you.